Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. I'm Tanys Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy, and I am joined by my co-host, Jennifer Tchaikovsky, and we have a special guest today, Dr. Lisa Thompson. Hey, Lisa, how's it going?
Good.
Good.
Looking forward.
Awesome. Well, we're thrilled to have you. It's awesome. We're going to have some interesting chats today, I'm sure. Do you want to tell people a little bit about you before we get into everything?
So, number one, I do live in Hawaii, so it's earlier here. I am a best-selling author, speaker, Galactic ambassador, and channeler, and I do different healing modalities. My ETs have given me my unique modality that I call Galactic Ascension channeling. And then I also do human design, which I know Jen is going to talk about later, and other things. I lead online classes and lead retreats here in Hawaii. And I do a night sky watch UFO tour.
Awesome. She's a busy lady. And she's speaking at the Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact conference next week with me. Yep. So on the 3rd, I believe it is, right?
Yeah.
What time? I'm speaking at like 7:20 a.m. or 7:10 a.m. What time are you speaking at?
Mine is at 2 p.m. my time.
Your time?
So 7 p.m. your time.
Right. So we're like opposite ends of the sevens. Awesome. So let's give a little update, shall we? About how things are going. Let's say hi to everybody first. We have a couple people here. We have Fogo Pogo. Hey, Kaylee. And we have Hypnocity. Hey, girl. How's it going? And that looks like all for today right now. So they'll come in, I'm sure. We're just going to give them a few minutes. So in terms of solar flares, let me just share my screen so we can actually look at these solar flares. So we're not as bad as some weeks. Some weeks we have a whole bunch. At the moment, we did have one that was a fairly high M class earlier today, level 4. Of course, a couple of days ago, we had this X class up here, which has created a little bit of a sort of bump in our Hypnocity says she's still feeling heavy. Well, I mean, the Schumann resonance has had some big blips in it yesterday, which, pushes us to get rid of all of the heavy energy that we have within, right? So it forces us to sort of start looking at some of the stuff that's going around. But I think that Jen's got some more insight because there's not a lot today, right? We've got this here going. Yeah, 28. Yeah. So we're at a 21, which is, it's higher than your average, which is a 7.8 hertz or your standard. But, it's not as high as some days. We've seen it up to, 90 and stuff recently. And we've had spikes, of course, up off the chart too. So yeah, Jen, what's going on in our other stuff, in our transits? Because people are feeling it. So there must be some neutrinos coming in.
There definitely are.
For me.
Yeah. So, yeah, right now, so from the 25th until the 30th. So I'm going to kind of do 2 for us this week, just because we're going to be switching kind of in the middle of the week. In the 28. So I'll hold up that 28 for you. Okay, the 28 it's preponderance of the great.
A little higher, Jen, please. Thank you.
The energy of this is really about that search for meaning when it comes to uncertainties, right? It's in the spleen, and so it is a fear gate that we're going to be working through. And from a Gene Keys perspective, it's about moving from the feeling of purposelessness to the siddhi of immortality through the gift of totality, right? And so what that looks like is, navigating through collective thought form. We talk about collective unconsciousness and things like that, and the way that shows up for us. And this one, Richard Rudd talks to it about the egregore of fear, right? So the watcher of fear, and really kind of noticing, sorry guys, the dogs are being wild today. If you're hearing all that kerfuffle out there, I apologize. But in this shadow place, what we're looking at is, fear that life lacks meaning, right? This shadow piece can really look at what is coming up for us. Do we feel like we're, maybe spiraling a little bit or getting kind of caught up in things to escape, right? So we look at that from a mental health kind of side of all of it. And we look at, the things that we do to avoid the difficult stuff. Right. And so noticing if that is coming up for us, if that kind of void feeling is there, how can we move through that? How can we transform that into this gift of totality? And I love the way that Richard talks about it, because it is about this full-hearted presence, right? Really just embodying the moment and allowing ourselves to recognize significance through each tiny little moment, as opposed to trying to figure it all out. Okay, so if you're feeling that heaviness and all of that right now, just notice what might be coming up for you in that energy, especially if this is a gate that's just being activated for you, or if it's kind of hanging there, there's going to be a little bit of energy that, pulls in a different way. From there, though, we're going to be moving into the 44, right? And so the gate 44 energy, kind of, as they all do, right? They build on one another. And this one is about karmic relationships. And so we just get done this whole kind of self-seeking understanding about purpose and what that is for us. And then we kind of bring it home into our relationships, right? This card is the coming to meet card. And it's the energy of it moves us from the shadow of interference to the gift, or to the siddhi of synergy, through the gift of teamwork, right? And so we want to look at that and kind of go, okay, as we're shifting this energy and we're moving into the 44, we're going to start looking at our fractals, right? What is showing up for us in our lines and our connections and all of that? Because again, this particular fear gate can bring us into this victim place of isolation, right? Am I isolating myself either because I'm not trusting or because I'm judging things and not allowing things to just kind of unfold? Because it's this karmic energy, we get caught up in the fear of repeating the past, and more specifically, the fear of repeating past trauma, right? So just notice if this is coming up, because through the gift of teamwork, we really begin to understand the whole of the picture. And so this ability to tap into our intuition and really know what is correct for us and what isn't, what aligns for us, and what doesn't. And that means who as well, right? Who aligns for us and who doesn't. That all plays a role in this, because the siddhi, the enlightened state of this, is Richard talks about, it's called the coming of the queendom, right? And it is this kind of like hive energy where we work together with a single purpose, right? In that unity place, right? So it just takes that idea of teamwork to a whole new level. But in order for us to get there, we have to get through these inner fears and doubts and work through some of the energies that keep us kind of on alert and a little bit separate. So just as we're transitioning through, just notice if these fears are coming up and how they show up for you. Give yourself that grace and compassion, and then go, okay, how can I transition these into the gift energy of them, and go from there. So hope that helps to navigate it all over the next little bit.
Yeah, definitely. How have you been feeling about all this, Lisa?
Well, I'm resonating with what you just shared in my own life, so I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
I can see the karmic energy coming. And anyway, it'll be interesting how it navigates.
Yeah. I think we're all feeling it, because we've got some. So Hypnicity is like, we're still feeling heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaylee's like, yeah, bad anxiety day. Yes. It is always nice, isn't it, to know that it's not just you. Somehow there's a you can take the self-judgment out of it when you know that it's not just you. Because we all sort of judge ourselves for having whatever feeling it is that we're having. And so it's nice to know that it's not just you.
Yeah. Well, when it's collective, it's like,
little.
oh, okay, right? So one thing about human design that I absolutely love is like, okay, it's the mechanics. It's fine. It's for now. You know that whole thing, like this too shall pass? It's like, it actually will, because in a week from now, I'm going to have something else to obsess on.
That's exactly what it feels like. We just went from one obsession to the other. In terms of our healing focus, right? Definitely. So what would you like to do, ladies, about a topic? So, Lisa, we usually will pick a card for a topic, or we can talk about ETs. That's why I thought I'd leave it up to you.
I'm good whichever way you want to go, because we had a great conversation about ETs when we recorded together on my show. So
We did.
whatever you want.
Why don't let's do ETs?
Okay.
Can we do ETs, Jen?
Fun.
We got lots of stories where that's concerned too. So why don't we do that?
Okay.
Because I'm looking at her ET offer to her corner.
Yeah.
And I know that it's a big part of her practice. Is the now remind me, do you have a name for your ET that's in the corner?
Yes, that one is Zanaya, and Z for short.
Right.
Awesome.
Hi Z. Nice to see you over there.
And I have two others outside, Elza and Evie.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, I'm sure you have another team as well that's not in the physical.
I do.
That you work with. Are any of them wanting to let us know about them?
Well, so my primary group that I work with are the Arcturians. And I first really came into that spiritual connection with them back October of 2018. And it took me a little while to figure out like what my role was with them and all of that. But what I realized is that I was actually meeting myself as my Arcturian. And so then in 2022, they started channeling through me. And that was a wild experience because I never thought I would be a channeler. And they also bring forth the emotional healing energy when I do my healing work. But then I also work with the Syrians, bringing that healing energy, and the Mantis as well. So I've got a lot of different groups I work with for different things, but those probably would be the top three.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Hypno said he thinks she has an Arcturian ancestry.
Well, if you think you do, you do.
Yeah. Yep. And some of us are hybrids in terms of our soul DNA. Some are semi-physical hybrids, but some of us are soul DNA hybrids. For me, it's soul DNA. So meaning my energy originated from two different places and became one. At least that's my belief. What are your thoughts on that, actually? What do you think about that sort of thing? Because we talked about had the hybrid stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately we all come from source, right?
Yeah.
So that's our real origin. So I think it's just whatever resonates with someone, then it's true for them, because all timelines are existing simultaneously.
Yes,
and
of course.
So all of whatever you believe about your DNA then is true for you.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that.
She's been using Mantis light language without even knowing it.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that maybe in different lifetimes we may resonate more with different streams, right? But that energy is there, and so really it's about what we end up kind of tapped into any given, well, I'll say lifetime, but also throughout our lifetime.
Yeah.
Different energies come to support us, guide us, and so if we have that connection to it, then we need to honor that.
Yeah. Well, and I think. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
I was going to say, I think when we really get focused on, well, I'm Arcturian or I'm Pleiadian or, whatever group it might be, it keeps us still in separation
True.
because it keeps us in a tribal mode. And really, we are all connected. We are all,
Yes,
so.
it's true.
I try to just be like, I'm mostly not of this earth.
I don't spend a lot of time on the earth.
I have not had a lot of earth lives as far as I am aware, because one of my modalities is past life regression therapy, which I'm changing that terminology to parallel life regression. But yeah, in my experience, I have not been here very much.
Yeah, Jenna and I, we've been actually working through healing a certain lifetime of ours that we shared. We've been in a bunch of different lifetimes together, but this particular one was quite impactful. And we were both ETs during that one. She was Lyran and I was Pleiadian. And so we did this whole thing.
Yeah.
With the Galactic Federation and stuff.
Go into more detail about that.
I'll leave Jen to say whatever she wants to say about it.
It's coming. Oh, fine.
Just whatever you feel you want to say. Like it's a mouthful, that lifetime. So.
It is. Well, and what I was given actually in terms of when it first started to come through, I had to start writing just because there was no way I could hold it. I couldn't hold the energy of it. Right. And so I had to start to write. And then over time, it just kept like coming. And then it kind of transformed into let's write this as a story of the life. And then it just kept coming and I'm going, okay, like there's a lot here. And so what I ended up doing is actually breaking it into 3 parts. So the first part is galactic history. And then the second part is my story of that lifetime. And then the third part is kind of like an appendix of sorts. And it has practices that can be transferred to today. And it has actually a songbook in it with different kinds of ceremonies and things. There's the whole kind of calendar of how things were in that lifetime. I have a codex in there. And so it was just, I feel very blessed to have been able to get this. Mm-hmm. And it was a very healing process for me to do it. And also I'm at the point now where I'm ready to have some people maybe look it over and just do some proofreading because I just like.
I started reading it,
and then once it's ready, I will share it with
the world
who's interested in.
And as she was getting those downloads, I was getting like concurrent kind of stuff, my perspective of those sorts of things. So that was interesting. So we were able to kind of corroborate stories as we went through, and so it's been an interesting journey for both of us. We played a big role in each other's lives in that one, just as we do today. So it's it's been a fascinating thing. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Lisa was around during that time, actually.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I just got the goosies. So
yeah, because as soon as I met Lisa, I felt like I'd known her. So I wouldn't be at all surprised. And we've met just sort of as you and I have been doing this healing work. So the timing is very much sort of in line with that. So I wouldn't be, and I'm getting goosebumps too.
Yeah.
So welcome all of you viewers.
Start out.
All of you viewers, you're witnessing a joint experience happening. What?
Do you have a lifetime where you were a healer with the Arcturians?
Oh yeah, that's actually what I got to figure out. Yeah.
Oh,
And
I think
so
I think I have a piece of your there.
okay.
Oh, she's got
Okay.
some story for you. hmm
Yeah, there's a part of the story that, you guys, I want to share, but I don't want to get into it yet. But there's a piece of the story where somebody on basically life or death was brought to the Arcturians, to a healer, to navigate through. And so there's 2 lives that end up being saved from that particular incident. And yeah. I know you guys are holding space for me. I don't want to start giving stuff away from it yet.
So Kaylee says, I love seeing all the connections happening. And we're holding space for you, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, she's saying that because she knows that this particular lifetime was,
it was
pretty traumatic for Jen. And she, as this stuff was coming back, she was having some, what I would call like inter-lifetime flashback kind of stuff. Like PTSD related sort of almost stuff.
Yeah, it was a really hard experience, and healing and working through the healing of it has been, I can't, there's no words for how wonderful that has been. But this particular thing that happened that I'm talking about actually wasn't me that was saved in that moment, but somebody else that was quite.
Was it me? Is that the one?
You guys are killing me. So it was actually an Mintalkan woman who was pregnant with a baby that she could not carry.
Okay.
And they were brought to the Arcturians to save, basically, because she would have died at the final trimester giving birth and all of that. And so the Arcturians were able to save them. So I don't know if that piece resonates for you, but.
Well, definitely the healing part, because that's one thing, when I met them, they gave me a gift of a crystal, and I didn't know what the crystal was for. And so it took a few years for me to really understand this, my role with them. But what I realized, because there was a group of them, so the one that gave me the crystal was my Arcturian self. And my role is as a healer there. And so that crystal basically channels that healing energy from the Arcturian realm down to me here as Earth Lisa. So that
very cool.
Flow through me. And so I have my big Lemurian crystal to represent.
Ooh, that's tingly. Are you guys feeling that?
The energy. Yeah. So it's pretty wild and obviously the Arcturians, they don't need to heal themselves because they're higher dimensional beings that don't need that, but they do help heal other people.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they were a strong part of the Galactic Federation, which
we got some healing to do there, love.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll talk, Kaylee. So I had this in class. We had a class with our Galactic Shaman group yesterday. And so I was showing like crystal wands and stuff for healing. And this is a Lemurian one. And she was like, so she just did it again. So don't take it personally, please, is what I'm saying. Okay, what's this? How does one find a therapist in the States that would understand my experiences? I'm looking for someone who works with insurance. Yeah. Do you know anybody in the States? If you were here, I would suggest Jen, but.
Yeah, I mean, I know someone here in Hawaii, but I don't know how that works.
Yeah, depending on the state and the legislation of the state, it makes a difference. Ask your insurance what they will cover. right? And ask them if they will cover a practitioner outside of your jurisdiction, just to see if they would. And you can express that you need, it's hard to find somebody who's going to meet your specific needs, and just see what they say and go from there. Because I'm sure there are people out there. I just don't know where you are and if somebody can do that or not.
Yeah, the one that I know that's here in my neighborhood, she actually came on one of my UFO tours, which is how I knew she was open to it. And then we started talking, and she's like, I have a lot of clients that really are galactically connected or starseeds. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was very happy to know that there was someone like that here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Jen's a psychotherapist here.
Mhm.
Yeah, in Ontario. So as well. Oh, okay. So she's 20 minutes north of Seattle.
Okay.
Okay. There should be some open-minded therapists. I'm originally from Olympia, Washington, so
Okay, cool.
I don't know
Well,
any.
we can reach out, Hypnocity, if you want to put, well, maybe don't put your stuff there. Maybe just send me a message. I think we're connected on Facebook, so just send me a message in Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my email's all over the world anyways.
Just put it on out there.
Whatever. It's all good. Yeah,
Right?
you can send me an email if you like, and then we'll see if it, and please don't inundate me with a bunch of stuff, guys, okay? But if you have questions, I'm open to that. So, yeah, so please go ahead and send us something there, Hypnocity, and we'll, if anything comes up, we'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, awesome.
Yeah, I at one point had tried to put together a Facebook group for psychotherapists or counselors who also did energy healing. But I don't know. I'll have to see if there's anybody in there that's from that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting field, but I think it's growing in terms of the spiritual awareness and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. It's good to see.
It is, because I think a lot of things that get diagnosed really are not what they like.
Yeah, there's
schizophrenia, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a spiritual component for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Jen and I do that kind of work too, so which I'm sure you've encountered as well on what you're doing in terms of the attachments and all that. So
Yeah.
I feel like they're working on us. Like this, there's like this whole thing happening right now in the other
Yeah.
in the other dimensions, and I'm distracted by it, folks. I'm sorry.
And I just want to share this based on that topic. So my great grandmother on my mom's side, she was diagnosed schizophrenic, and this is probably back in the 60s when they really didn't understand. But I know now that my family is highly sensitive, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah. So I just needed to share that. But
Yeah.
again, things are
Thank you for sharing that.
not always.
They're not always like they seem.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, similarly, like I work with a lot of people who are highly sensitive, who are empathic, who have many of the clairs, and they think that, they've been diagnosed with all kinds of things, and some have even been institutionalized. And then, when we work together, and it's like, no, this is okay. You just have to understand how to navigate your sensitivities and what that means for you and all of that. And then it's like, oh, I'm not, mentally ill. It's like, no, not at all. Right. And so being able to work through that and hold space for just honoring, what we're here with and the experiences that come with that. Because, even as a child growing up, seeing a lot of things and having a mom who saw a lot of things and having a lot of family members who, some who were institutionalized for seeing things. And, you look at it and go, wow, like, the world if it doesn't understand it, it just rejects it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. And then we all are, just deemed to just be unwell. And it's like, that's not true. Just because you don't understand doesn't mean that it's not a real experience.
That's right. There's a way more going on
Mm-hmm.
than what the general population, I guess we could say, wants to admit there is. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, and for
I
me,
would agree with that for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
part of understanding my human design really helped me understand how I operate, like and what might get triggered,
Mm-hmm.
as well as not having my emotional center defined. So I'm a sacral generator, and I would take on people's emotions for years thinking they were mine.
You're a manifesting generator? Is that what you
I'm
said?
a sacral generator.
Sacral generator. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a manifesting generator. And what's yours again?
Projector.
Spleen of projector.
Okay.
Do I have a, I'm not a
You're emotional. You're emotional manifesting generator. Your
yes,
solar
I've been told I'm emotional my whole life.
As splenic mind also is undefined. So that piece of, as you were saying, like taking on, amplifying to the point of distortion, these emotions. And I remember at one point thinking, like, I don't feel like an angry person, but I feel really angry. Right. And recognizing, years later, looking back, that I was amplifying the anger of others
Right.
in my life. It's like, wow. So
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you on that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's very interesting in terms of being an empath when we're not realizing, we don't know why
Mhm.
we're an empath, or we don't understand it. Right. Luke, his messages here, that he's been through a lot with trying to get guidance. So we need to bring more understanding and guidance to people through their awakenings.
Yeah.
He wasn't guided and had to figure it out, and it led to some hardship. And now he's at peace, and he can
Wonderful.
recognize what's not his and what is, and and he's built a collective, which is awesome.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, us too.
Love that.
Awesome. Yes, it can, right?
Yeah.
A lack of understanding can certainly lead to that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because we get misunderstood, right? So, and Hypnocity, I spent 2 weeks in a psych ward. That's when I decided I need to find holistic support. Yeah, I knew I wasn't bipolar. They wanted to give more meds. Yep.
Yeah, and sadly that happens. I'm not saying that, meds have their purpose, but at the same time, when there is this, lack of understanding, we don't want to just cover up a symptom. We want to really understand what's going on at the core of it.
Exactly. Root cause analysis, like we do it in business. Why don't we do it for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Big hello to Margie.
Hello.
And to Brenda.
Oh, hi.
Hello, ladies. Awesome.
Yeah, and I can imagine too, and I don't know how this experience was for you, Lisa, but I know for myself, especially as a child, kind of seeing things, and as a kid, it's okay. You're allowed to have invisible friends and you're allowed to have all of that kind of stuff. But as you get older and you are talking to things that other people don't see, there's a lot of questioning around what's going on there and all of that.
And what do you think the age is that starts? That people start questioning? Because is there some unwritten rule book that I don't know about?
I think kids start getting shut down around age 7 or 8, don't they?
Okay, so there is a rule book.
The moment that there is like peer pressure, right?
Yes,
The moment
right.
that there is like, I have to fit in this particular group, right? Immediately we start to question and doubt and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So, just wondering too about people's experiences in terms of, allowing ourselves to freely express and be who we are with all of these experiences and really being able to honor that.
Mm-hmm. So apparently Margie, it was immediately.
Mm,
Kaylee, age 7.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel somewhat fortunate because my mother was always into the metaphysical sciences throughout my childhood, and she always encouraged me to be who I was. And then when I was 13, though, we moved to Washington State from Oklahoma to attend a spiritual school of enlightenment, where then as a teenager, I'm getting to learn about higher consciousness, other realities, going to Freud, really enhancing all those clairabilities. And even though it was fantastic from a spiritual point of view, I still wanted to be normal and fit in with peers. And so
of course,
there was this push-pull going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I had always hoped that maybe I had always wished, like lately, that I had had somebody that was more spiritual. But you're right. It's kind of a double-edged thing, right? When you're in that position, because you want to fit in, but yeah.
And then when I was at school,
Hypno City, Twillow Lifestyle Academy. Hi. I know spiritual schools have been around, but I think they've been very under, some of them were called the mystery schools, and they were mystery for a reason, right? Because they'd been under like psychic attack for years and attack in the public for years. So, they're not the only ones, but that's definitely some of why the spiritual schools, I think, are not as well known.
Yeah.
In past generations.
The one that I went to was called the Ramtha School of Enlightenment, and it was definitely based on the mystery teachings of the East.
Yeah.
And it was also taught by a channeled ascended master, which that was back in the 80s, that was weird for people in my town. My town was highly religious, and so it was us versus them. And it's a very interesting experience. But again, I'm really, what I learned in my teens and 20s and early 30s really has catapulted me into being able to now be this authentic galactic ambassador. Because I had to hide myself for so many years to be taken seriously in my different careers.
We've all had these 3D lives in the meantime, and then we step into our authentic soul self is really kind of what we're doing. The three of us anyway, in what we're doing and working. I mean, Jen and I still have semi 3D parts of our lives. But it's only semi 3D now. It used to be 3D, not so much anymore.
Yeah, and I find even that is shifting, because as the world is shifting, and all people want more spiritually based things, right?
Yeah,
and so it really does make a difference. I think about the people that I work with and who finds me now comparatively to when I first started. Right. And it's okay, I really do feel that, we're talking about fractal energy, right? That's what we're going to be getting into with that 44. Right. And we look at that and go I'm not made for everybody, and that's okay. But those who are meant to find me are going to find me. And that's a beautiful thing.
I was at a party not long ago, and an older gentleman came up to me, and he was like, "So what do you do?" I'm like, "Well, I think he was probably, one of these guys that was a lawyer or a business owner or something, but older gentleman. And I said, well, I'm an HR consultant. He goes, oh. And I said, and an energy healer. Oh. That's eclectic. And he turned around and walked away. I was like, a friend of mine reminded me of that experience yesterday. And I was like, I forgot about that. So apparently I'm eclectic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with that.
It's interesting. Had we pulled a card, because I was shuffling while we were talking, and then I just, put the deck down. The card on top, am I afraid to be seen?
Oh, that's what we're talking about.
The reality
You
is,
make this stuff up, guys. So the question is, are you afraid to be seen?
right. And just stepping into that place of owning authentically who we are, right, at any given moment, and knowing that can change. Like there can be ebbs and flows in that too.
Yeah, it's okay to be okay with it one day and not the next.
Yeah.
Because I think that's just part of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I was going to share, like when I was in graduate school. So I went to University of Chicago, was in evolutionary biology, and we're, all of my friends, we study animals, zoology, marine biology kind of stuff. And I would share with them my experiences of being with ETs and on craft and my belief in Sasquatch and merpeople and dragons. And they all thought I was absolutely crazy. And so that's when I really kind of shut myself down or hid that side of me because I needed to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until 4 years ago when I moved here to Hawaii that I came out of the closet, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
My son teases me about coming out of the broom closet.
And even my mom, she's like, do you really want to be the UFO lady? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. That's what I'm here to do.
I already am, Mom. I'm just telling everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's fascinating too to notice kind of the path that you took.
Mm-hmm.
Like having this spiritual background and all of that, and then getting into, like you said, evolutionary biology, right? And like how all of that actually fits in to so much of how our evolution has been enhanced by, right?
Yeah.
Extraterrestrial influences and all of that. And so it's such a beautiful thing because it is a cohesive thing for those who can understand that.
Yes. Well, and that's very connected to the Arcturians and that part of you,
Mm-hmm.
I would think, right?
It is.
The biological
It is.
study.
With the Syrians, my the one life that I fully got to see as a Syrian being coming here to Earth was I was a genetic engineer. So I was helping to upgrade the human body to be able to hold more consciousness and run more energy and all of that. And so, and I know I have a lot of other lives as, being a scientist and being the keeper of the DNA of biodiversity. Because growing up, I was just obsessed with animals my entire life. Still, I'm obsessed with animals.
Nice.
And so I know that fits into part of my whole history or parallel lives.
Yeah.
In these other worlds.
So I'm going to have a talk with your Syrian self. We got to talk about this physical body thing. Yeah, we need to talk about physical bodies.
Mm-hmm.
The human body it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating
Mm-hmm.
how it works. Yes. And it's changing. And so everybody is having this stuff come up with the Ascension symptoms. So it's changing like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and as we're waking up, as people are waking up, it's activating the latent DNA.
Yeah.
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 Exactly. Yep. There's a lot to unpack there, Lisa. I feel like they're giving me a bunch of downloads and like I'm not able to process it right now.
I'm curious, the human design kind of enthusiast side of me is
Yeah.
wondering if, that lifetime for you as a Syrian, was that around, like, I guess it was the late 1700s when Ra was talking about the switch from that 7-centered being to the 9-centered being, when there was a DNA, like, actual switch for humans?
So this was actually during the building of the pyramids. So
Okay.
tens of thousands of years ago.
Okay.
And so can I share the story real quick?
Please. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was fascinating to get to see this. So this was through a QHHT session.
I just had one on Thursday.
Okay.
It's great.
And so there were 2 sets of us as Syrians working with the humans. So my group, we were in our spaceship and we were sending down this sound frequency really to, change the DNA, to upgrade the body, because there were others of us on the ground, boots on the ground, actively teaching the humans how to do the sound thought levitation process to lift these megalithic stones into place. And what was interesting is we had another experiment going on another planet where we were upgrading the body, but we weren't interfering directly and teaching them directly. And so what happened here on Earth is that technology ended up, basically the technology outgrew the spirituality here on Earth. And so you have a massive downfall of civilization, like the Atlantean times. But
Right.
the one that we left alone, that we just upgraded the body, they stayed completely in tune with nature and harmony with each other. And very much like the Avatar movies, where they were just really one with each other and with their environment.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really interesting.
Yeah.
I had to tell you, I cried like all the way home after the second Avatar movie. I was like, I want to go home. And Jen's like, we're going home. I said, no, home. And he's like, okay. Because it is a beautiful way of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
That
really
must have been a challenge though, trying to teach humans stuff like that. I'm thinking,
Well,
like,
and that wasn't my role. Again, I was just
thankfully.
right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but humans at that point in time were way more receptive,
Yeah, true.
right? And closer to the DNA of those who seeded Earth than
Right.
we are today. So that
Right.
makes a huge difference in their receptibility.
Yeah, today it's hit and miss. Apparently it hit all of us.
Yeah,
We all got tuned in.
yeah.
So lovely comment from Hypnocity. We're very glad to help.
Yeah. Oh,
We don't want anybody to feel alone in our society. There's no reason for it, really. We are all one. We're all connected. We feel each other on a deep level.
mhm.
And so, yeah,
Yeah. Well,
you're not alone.
the polarized society, right? And the world in general right now
Mhm.
has so
Yeah.
much going on, and we talk about that high sensitivity, right? And
Yeah.
there's this talk of increase of mental health stuff and all of that, and it's like, yes, but collectively what we're tapped into, what we're feeling, what is being presented to us energetically on a regular basis is quite dichotomous, right? Like we've got what's going on in the world, plus we've got what's coming in for us. And it's like, what do I do with all of this?
Yeah, because you want to step into judgment of one or the other or both, right? Depending on where you're at on your spectrum. Like, you can be really happy about the stuff coming in and be like, ugh, about what's happening here. Or you might be like not liking what's coming in because you're kind of happy in the current state of affairs, or somewhere in between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the things that my Arcturians 3 years ago had me do was completely step away from any kind of political kind of involvement,
Yeah.
away from the news and media, just for the work that I do, so that I could be in a more neutral place
Hmm.
and really understand from that higher perspective. So what I understand about our polarized third, fourth dimensional reality is it's simply a mechanism of evolution.
Mm-hmm.
There is no good or bad or positive or negative.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say that so often. It's just experience.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Hypnocity likes that you step away from all of the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, I stopped watching the news. It's not helpful for me.
No, it helps being here in Hawaii too, because I feel like I'm in my happy little bubble, kind of away from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Very different energy here than on the mainland.
Well, and I'm in Ottawa, which is like the capital of Canada. So it's a government town. Jen's in
I'm
a
in
small
the
town, so
country.
she's good. But
I'm in the country with all of the stars that I can see when it's not cloudy. That make me very, very happy.
so I'm really good at tubing. Keeping myself bubbled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
But
what
it
happens.
is, it can be heavy. It can be heavy, especially when we identify with it. Right? And so being able to take that, step back can be really helpful. It was made in Hawaii.
I wonder how many people were made in Hawaii. Being like one of the honeymoon capitals of the world or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's cute. We're actually at our
Yeah, it's not quite the 5
5
minutes, but we're getting close.
Yeah, we started a couple of minutes later, so we can certainly.
Oh, right. Yeah,
That's why it's
that clock, not that clock.
yeah. That's okay, and we can go till after if if it works for everybody. But
Well, let's see what we got. What's the home play?
yes, home play. We don't give people homework; we give them home play.
This, Tanys, you're gonna. It's time for ceremony.
Oh. We just talked about ceremony earlier before we got on, so it's quite funny. A ceremony that we're going to do.
And it's really interesting because the ceremony that we're talking about is not from here. And so it was really interesting. And so in line with everything.
It's true. Jen got a lot of detail in her downloads about our lifetime when we did ceremonies.
It is time for ceremony. So here we go. Okay. Life is a continual sacred unfolding. This is known in the Cree language as, I'm going to try this one. Pimatasawin. Okay, I think I got that. When we walk with mindful celebration, all of life is a ceremony. A busy, hurried pace can hypnotize you into believing that meaningless things are meaningful. It's time to slow down and enter the realm of the sacred feminine. It's time to honor the sacredness of life around you. Move away from your distractions and breathe a sigh of relief. Life is waiting for you to rejoin the celebration. The only thing life needs is your attention. Ceremony occurs when you notice the beauty and aliveness around you. Feel the power in your body. Feel the sun and earth honoring your journey. Honor them in return and feel the cycle of life become whole. Create a sacred space in your own home by lighting a candle or smudging with sacred medicine. Sit and contemplate your connection to your relations. If you are able, attend a ceremony held by a sacred lodge keeper. Your presence in either your sacred space or another's will be cause for much celebration. You are a joyous miracle, and all of creation wants to celebrate with you in ceremony.
Beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, they're great cards.
Yeah, so just I normally show the deck. There's the
Sacred
seeds.
feminine.
Feminine.
Yeah. So what does that bring to mind in terms of ceremonies? Do you do ceremony, Lisa?
I have been contemplating starting a monthly full moon ceremony.
Nice.
That would incorporate sound healing and shamanic journey.
Awesome.
So
Well, keep us posted. We know others in Hawaii. And I might have to go soon.
yeah, you need to come visit me.
I'm going to. Yes. There's 3 of you that have said that to me, so I'm going to have to come visit you all. It'll be fun.
Yeah, so find some time to get out of the humdrum kind of just going through the motions of life and make some time for connection.
And sacredness, right? Being in that sacred space and feeling that connection to all that is. And others, if you can have them join you in your ceremony this week. So what have you got coming up, Lisa? Would you like to share what you have coming up in the near future?
So actually, my newest book is with the editor right now. And so this one is called Awakening to Your Multidimensional Self. And the title is Harnessing Energy Timelines and Higher Consciousness. So
awesome.
That will hopefully be out either end of the year or beginning of 2025.
Awesome.
Very cool. That is exciting.
It is. Can't wait to read it. That's great.
And this is it's not channeled per se like a couple of my other books, but it was definitely inspired by the Arcturians and what they've been sharing through me for the last 3 years.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. Kaylee says she loves being in ceremony with others. She finds the magic flows so much more. It does. I do a once a month enlightenment evening, which actually is coming up, I think. Isn't it? I believe it's on the 4th. Where we do ceremony. We end up, calling in the 4 directions and the guides and all of that stuff. So that's fun. So yeah, I guess that's one thing that's coming up. You and I both have the conference this weekend. That's coming up. So that'll be fun. Jen, what have you got coming up?
Sorry, I had to mute just because the dogs are being very loud. Yeah, I don't have anything specific coming up, just Twillow talk, and next week the same, our classes, and then we'll see about the whole release thing. I don't know if it's going to be before 2025 or not. We'll see. But so that's what I have going on, and then I think it's next week I'll have something before, so we'll see.
Awesome. Yeah, I keep getting told I'm supposed to write a book, but they're telling me I got to sit my butt down to do it.
Yeah.
That's the part.
Piece. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be nice if I didn't have to do that part. I could just think it into existence, but we'll get there. I think we're on that road. So we'll get there. So yeah, I think it is a fairly quiet week, I think, with all of those other things, like with our usual stuff. We're often on different podcasts and whatnot. Are you on any podcasts, Lisa, coming up?
I know I'm on a couple other summits coming up. So if you get on my email list, which my website, mysticmanta.com, if you get my free 20-minute meditative journey, then you're on my email list and then you get everything. But I have my weekly podcast.
Yes.
And
what day does that come out?
So every Tuesday it goes live on my YouTube channel, Connection to the Cosmos with Dr. Lisa Thompson. And you are scheduled, so we recorded, but yours is going to come out mid to late November.
Awesome. Exciting. So I'll be sure to share that when it comes up, and yeah, it'll be fun. It was a great chat. It was lovely to chat with you. Thank you so much. I was truly honored. It was great. So, all right. Final words, anyone?
Yeah, I don't have anything coming in.
All right.
The only thing I want to say, because they always want me
Please.
to share this, is really, no matter what's going on in the world around us, to really stay focused on what you want to create in your life. Put your attention and energy there, rather than the things that are keeping you in fear and a lower vibration.
I had that come in the other day for a group. So there's definitely bringing that kind of message through right now. It's an important one. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So it's been absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll have to have you back.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to chat about some of our past lives together, because I think there's quite a few here. Definitely that one that we were all getting chills on. That was one we'll have to chat about. So thank you all for being here with us today, and come back again next week. We'll see you next week for Twillow Talk. Sending you lots of love, guys. Bye all.